Hi all. So in this chapter, we are going to learn how we can handle the exceptions in the Python. Okay. So we have explored till so far in the basic Python codes. Okay. Now it's time to understand how we can handle the exceptions or errors for that matter. What we get it in the Python. So we use the three keywords to handle the exception: try, except, and finally. So basically, in all of the programming language, we have try catch block, but here in Python we have a try, except, and finally blocks. So how we can do it? I'll give you an example, and before that let's understand what kind of the when we say the error in Python, what kind of errors. So basically in errors in Python can be of two types: a syntactical error or an exception. So error is basically a problem in the program which you have written, due to which the program stop the execution of the program. But exception will not stop the execution, but it will change the direction of your flow or change the normal behavior of your program. It will raise when some internal events occur, but it will not stop the execution of the program. So that is the small difference between the error and exception. So we can have multiple type of exceptions like syntactical error, type error, name error, divide by zero error, key error, out of range error. So these many exceptions we can have. So all these type of exception, how we can handle in our code. So that we are going to explore. So let's demonstrate with an example. You can see on my screen I have opened the PyCharm as a code editor for the Python. Just in case if you have not seen all the videos, how we can download and open the PyCharm editor, you can go ahead and see the chapter 1 to get the more details. So here I'm going come back to the same session. So here I have declare a variable a and put the value 10 to it, and I have declared a variable b and I'm trying to divide it with a 0. So if I try to print this value b, so what kind of error we are going to get? What is the default behavior? You can see this line, this file. Okay, we got an error here, and it is saying divide, zero division error, division by zero, which is not allowed, right? So this type of error, how we can it throws an error. So how we can catch it? So for that we have to use the try and except block. So what we can do is, so we can keep the statements on the entire code or the code in the try block. Okay, so this as the syntax to do this, we have a try block, and wherever you feel this is going to uh, give me an error, so that to handle this, so I mean these two code can have, I have to keep it in the try block, and after that I have to keep it here except, and we have to print it. So let's say what we are going to get it. Okay, so this here we can mention, if you know, then we can mention the zero division error, or if you not mention, then that is also fine. So let's see how we can here you can mention the value, or you can mention the customize error, like error division by error, or Python will not allow, Python won't allow, you know divide by zero, like that you can mention. So now if you execute it, see here Python won't allow divide by zero. So we did not get the red lines over here. Our code will not break here. It will give a customized error which we have added here. So this error or exception division, zero division error has been caught, and it has been handled by the except block. So we keep all the statements what we have in the code in the try block, and we can use except keyword to handle the exception. So let's say let's take on one more example. Okay, if I take a variable a, and this is nothing but a list, let me provide 1 comma 3 comma 5. Okay, this is a kind of a list we have in the variable a, and if I wanted to print it, okay, so what I wanted to do, I have to keep this try, or I'll execute, copy this here, and here I'll print, sorry, here let me try to access the second variable. So second element I wanted to access. So here I will mention as colon, and here, if you know, right, how we can access the elements, I have told you in the previous sections, right, in the so it is all on index base. So first, so second element is placed on the first index of array. So this gonna print the value. Let's say if we have, I wanted to print fourth element which is not there even in this list. So that means definitely this code is gonna break. Okay, so I wanted to break this code to see how we can handle that. So let's say here I wanted to access the fourth element. So this complete code I have put it in the try, and if any kind of exception came, so I wanted to, hold it in the or handle it in the exception block. So here I am going to print it like out of index or something like that, out of range error. So this we can, and here there would not be a space between except and colon. So if you try to execute it, so here you can see the second element it gonna display us as a 4, which is correct, and fourth element it it did not break the program, although it give to the controller will go to the accept block and print out of range. Just in case if I have not used this try accept block, okay, let's, okay, remove this. Let's remove this accept and try and see how the Python will behave. So if I execute it, see this program got crashed. Okay, indentation error, unexpected. Okay, this is one of the error. If you see here, now if you wanted to execute, there's lot of space, because see we when we use the try catch block or try or reset block, sorry, so we can use the indent, but right, because we have removed the try and asset, so it requires no indentation. So I have removed this. Now you can see, now I'm getting the correct error, actually list index out of range. This is what we are supposed to get it if we will not use the try and accept block. Okay, I hope you understood like how we can use it. Now just in case if we wanted to use the else statement, how we can use the try with else. Okay, so Python, you can also use the else clause in the try accept block, which must be present after the accept block. Okay, so let's say here I keep it again as a try, and this will, I will keep it as accept and print, and here else. So let's say if is there is if there is no error, then print all elements are fine. Let's say it's just a random. If you execute it, see, it is giving indentation error. Why? Because now I have added try and accept an else block, and it is not, the Python is not able to read the second line because it is expecting the second line to be having one intent. So here we have giving this space. I executed expected colon. Okay. So here we have to provide colon, space, colon. See here. So we have here we have to provide one space between accept and colon. So here you can see we have an issue here in this try block. That's why the controller will go to the accept block and it write it down here out of range. Let's suppose if, and due to which, because the controller went to the accept block, that's why it did not go to the else block. So else block will only execute if there is no error in the try block. Okay, now to demonstrate it, let me remove this line. Okay, and let me execute it again to see what's gonna help here, or what's gonna display here. You can see the second element, it is giving us the correct, and now this time there is no error into the try block, so controller will go directly to the else and it displayed all elements are fine. So by this way we can use the else block also when we are using the try and accept. So we discussed try, accept. Now finally block is basically the something that is going to always execute. So I will add the finally here in the same, you know, code. So this is something we can mention print I'm going to execute always. I am going to execute always. So this is something this block will execute whether it has an error or not error. So let me execute if it is not having an error. So it's going to display or not. See, I'm going to execute always. So in case of no error, the finally block execute. Let's put error again. The same error, let's put it. Fourth element. And let's say this time how the controller will go. Fourth element would be placed on the third index, and this time let's execute it. To see the second element, fourth, out of range, it will go to the except block, but it will not go to the else block, and finally is always executed. See, I'm going to execute always, so it always executed. So this is the way you can use try, except, else, and finally. So now here if you have to mention the specific error, so here you can have, if you type here index error, see, you can get index error, you can have name error, I think you can have division error, so zero division error. So type of exception also you can display here. You can categorize your exception and you can use that exception in the except block. Thank you.